and welcome to the Women of Color in Business podcast. I am Lynette Cottrell, your host, and I am so delighted you decided to join us today. We are going on a transformative journey of embracing radical self-love and unlocking the full potential in both our personal and business lives. This podcast is dedicated to empowering us, Black women entrepreneurs, to break free from self-limiting beliefs and guiding us towards our best self. So if you're just starting your business or you've been at it for a while but feel stuck, we got you. Welcome to your safe place. We honor your unique business journey. Here is where you remove your mask, wear your own style of comfort, and get ready to soar. Together, we will grow exponentially and challenge the statistics of how our businesses headed and founded by Black women entrepreneurs, start, grow, and last. So enjoy this great episode and be sure to help us grow by letting your sisters in business know about us so they can also follow us, like us, give us 5 stars, and leave comments. We want to hear from you and know what you want to hear from us. Together, we're going to build a great ecosystem here, impacting the number of Black women-owned businesses that grow and last. All right, sisters, let's jump right into it.
The anatomy of the aha moment. So there's 3 parts to the aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
And the first kind of pre-work to that is when we're born, most of us are taught in modern society, especially Western society, not so much in Eastern, but in Western society, that we're a body, that's the primary. And then we have this spirit or something in our body that we sort of have to get in touch with. And then if the minister, rabbi, priest says, okay, then maybe God can give us an answer, and,
Right.
and if we pay enough to the church, and if we don't, well, maybe not so much, maybe next week, because the Catholic Church is no joke, there's a lot of middlemen. And so I mean, it's too much. It's too much.
Yes.
It's just too complicated. So, but the way that energetic physiology really is configured is that we're these big, giant, swirling balls of energy that are infinite. So that always lives, that doesn't die. And then a portion of that whole decides, okay, let's have a physical incarnation so we can have a tangible experience of what we're doing. So we inhabit a body. A portion of ourselves goes into the body as the driver.
Mm-hmm.
So the body's like the car. The rest of us stays out as the navigation system. So now you have the embodied self driving the car and the higher self navigating you in the car.
Mm-hmm.
In that car, though, the car is equipped. I think, what do they call those conversion vans, those really sharp ones that they have? Like, it's equipped, right? So you, in your body car, are equipped with all your physical things, all your physiology, your physical
5
senses and
yeah.
your physical abilities, your intellect, your ability to analyze. It's governed by your mental mind, which focuses on the past and it focuses on what it's seen other people do before, because it's keeping you safe and it's keeping a running recording of memory for you, right? So you know where you've been and in what you've done. And so that's all on what I call a 3D, third dimensional physical side of your own personal dashboard in this body car. But what most people don't know is that it's also equipped with what I call travel size versions of the energetic abilities you have when you're non-embodied available to you while you are in the body.
Okay.
So travel size versions are this whole part of you, that 5D, 5th dimensional energy, your higher energy. There's a part of that's available to you while you're physically driving around your body car. And that includes your ability to self-heal, your ability to bring things from energetic into physical form. That would be the manifesting piece or alchemy piece, and your ability to communicate energetically. So that would include your intuition, your ability to personally download or have contextual conversations with your higher self. So we call it, there's lots of different words, but personal channeling or personal conversation with your higher self. And then telepathic abilities, where you can sense the conversations with your animals, with your kids who can't speak yet, with the weather, kind of sensing the weather, sensing the plants. That's part of your suite of energetic abilities.
Mm.
And both of those sides have their own infrastructure. So physical infrastructure includes time and space and linearity and gravity and those various laws of physicality, Newtonian physics
Right.
effect. It also includes blame, shame, guilt, fear, all the negative emotions. That's on the
Mhm.
3D side. On the 5D side, there are no negative emotions.
Mm.
There's also no time, no space, no linearity. Everything
Mm.
happens in the present moment. So you've got these two infrastructures going side by side. So when you decide to step on the spiritual path and you hear Eckhart Tolle say, "Oh, everything is the now moment," there's no such thing
Right.
as time. And you're like, "Wait, what?" Because I have a rollie on and it says telling time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, it's yes and yes. They're both
Yes.
in the physical organization of your walkabout on the planet. We have this structure
Mhm.
of linearity in time so that you can get a few billion people kind of communing with each other. But from an energetic perspective, everything is now, everything already exists, everything that ever was going to exist already exists. Every solution to every issue you have, every version of you exists in what we call parallel realities. That's a whole nother, bigger
Mhm.
conversation. So, so when you're healing, for instance, if you're going to do self-healing, instead of saying, "I'm flawed, I have to heal my kidney or my liver or whatever," you move yourself into the version of you that has a perfect kidney or liver. So instead of
Mm.
saying, "I'm flawed, I have to fix myself," you say, "How do I move myself to the version of me that's fully
Mm.
healthy," right?
Right.
So that's from a healing perspective, but that also can work for money. That can also work for relationships. It can work for, whatever issue you have. It can
Mhm.
work for a problem you have in the morning. You're like, "Okay, how do I speak to the version of me that already solved this problem?" Can you download what you did to solve the problem?
Mhm.
Because she already exists. That's a
Right.
future version of you that's willing to help you along your way. So that's
Mm.
what I call energetic physiology. It's energetic technique. And frequency-based physiology is what I meant to say, and energetic technique. And when you know that part of yourself, we're all born with this. This is not about special gifts.
Mhm.
This is not psychic development.
Yes.
This is not predictions. This is
Yes.
guidance. So that's the precursor. Anatomy of the aha moment. 1, 2, 3. First thing is you have 4 energetic senses, and your higher self will always go to those first. So we have physical senses, eyes and taste and touch and sight and what. But we have an overlay of energetic senses on each of those as well. So you have clairvoyance, which is energetic sight. So if you have a deja vu, or you get a vision in a dream as you're going to sleep right before you're dreaming, that's part of your clairvoyance. Clairaudience is energetic hearing. So you might hear lyrics of a song, and when you tune into those lyrics in your head, you're like, "Wait a second, that's what I need to hear right now." That's clairaudience.
Mhm.
You have clairsentience, that's the gut feeling, like you feel it, and you can almost feel words in your solar plexus, like, "Wait, I'm feeling like, yeah, that's not the right thing to do."
Right.
And
Right.
or it is. And then we have
Right.
claircognizance, which is knowing. It's like, I knew how I knew, how I don't know how I knew, but I knew,
Right.
you know, and so that's that sense of knowing. So those are the 4 clairs. Your higher self will always go to those first. The
Mm.
second thing that happens, though, immediately is your physical body. So you have your 5D side, which comes in energetically. Your physical
Right.
body reacts. So you get
Mm.
goosebumps. You get a sense of lightness. You get a sense of heaviness or a sense of heat if it's something like not so good, right?
Right.
And so your body is this psychic antenna that reacts. So that's part 2 of the aha moment. So the first
Mm.
is energetic.
Mhm.
Second is your body reacts, and it's like mails in, "Hello, there's something going on." So if you start
Right.
getting goosebumps, you start feeling chills, you're like, "Whoa, let me tune in." And then your higher self will send you, this is part 3, signs, symbols, synchronicities, and messengers to
Mm.
reinforce whatever that feeling you got was,
Mm.
right? To contextualize, to give you context, because If you just see 1111 or 444, people come down,
Right.
oh, Mari, is that a sign? Seeing that, and people get really excited. Oh, I thought of someone and they called. That's really equivalent to the ringtone on your phone. You're hearing the bell, but you're not
Right.
getting the text, because the text is the actual message.
Right.
And that's why people can't trust it, because the phone keeps ringing. But
Yes.
they're
They're
not
like,
getting
I see this, but I don't know what it means, and nothing
it.
else happens after it. So
Exactly. And
how's it
that's,
really helping me? Right. You're
yes,
right. It's like a phone
exactly.
ringing, but you never pick up to have the conversation. You just say, okay, the phone is ringing, but who's on the other end and what do they have to
That's
say?
precisely. That's
Yes.
exactly what it is. So the piece that I spend my time teaching is fluency in the language of your higher self, is literally like teaching someone Spanish or Russian or, whatever.
Uh-huh.
But it's, how do you perceive that higher self, and how do you download the information, and how do you know that it's your higher self and not your intellect or your anxiety?
Right.
And then how do you act on it? So we take inspired action steps from that. So your higher self is really efficient. A lot of times, if you do something from your intellect, it's going to give you 10 more steps. I think I need that certification. I think you need to read that book. I think you need to double check with so and so. Oh, so and so's son is in that, so maybe
Yes.
yeah. But your higher self will say, do this,
Yeah, and that's it.
and
That's
that's
it.
it. And
Just do
and
it.
it's kind of like being at the mall. So you look at a mall map and it says you are here, and then it gives you a dot. You have to go to that dot before it gives you the next thing. Spirit, that's how spirit communicates. Most of us want the full navigation system before
Yes.
we take one step.
But we can't handle it. We couldn't handle it if it was given to us.
Right.
So I like to say we have there is the reason that makes so much sense to me is that you get that one piece of information is because you would not, there's some growth that you need to do before you have the whole plan, right? So if you don't have that growth enough to understand the rest of this plan, it would sound crazy to you. No, that one, I can't do that, or that won't happen. So let me give you this little bite size that you just move this one step, then some more stuff will happen and you'll be a little, more knowledgeable. Then you move the next step. So that makes perfect sense to me because to your point, we often think I need the whole blueprint. I need to know how this is going to turn out from, today. I need every day laid out for the next, 9 months to know that when I start here, I'm going to end up there, where there might not be where you're meant to end up. So just start here
Exactly.
and be in tune. So
Exactly.
you said something that made me think. So what you teach, it sounds like that energy, the that energy is like a language we need to learn, right?
Absolutely.
Like we learn how to read and write and all those
Exactly.
things are so part of our society, but that energy is not something that we're taught, right? And I love that you said it's something we all have access to.
You're
Like,
born with it.
don't
It's
have to be a special
frequency-based
type of
physiology.
person or reading cards, but because
No,
you are human and you're here, you have that dashboard,
it's meant
right?
to carry you 80% of the time. Your
Mm,
3D senses and intellectual physiology and all that is meant to be 20% of your load, carry 20% of the load. When you don't know the other piece, you're overtaxing
yes,
your body, your mental health, your
yes,
emotional health, your physicality. And so when you do know that, first of all, it takes so much of a load off, because it's giving you the path of least resistance.
yes.
It's giving you the most efficient. It's very
Mm,
efficient. Like, instead of me saying, I think I should do high ticket. Well, maybe I should. Okay, let me go to my old coach. Well, let's see what they're doing in the group.
right.
Okay, let me call. Oh, maybe I should go on Upwork and see if I could find somebody to do sales. And then
Yeah.
I'm just
And
saying,
then
you know
10
what?
hours later,
Ooh, she calls and says, hey, can I come do this? And I
yes,
just answered like 7 questions in one conversation.
yes,
And I was just following a playful note of, let's go talk about Wicked again.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? And then it was like, boom, okay, we got her through Wicked. And, but Spirit used the whole idea of Wicked to get me to call her,
Exactly,
right?
exactly,
So
right.
it helps, you're allowed to enjoy things in your life. I think as
Mm,
entrepreneurs, we start to forget that we're so busy working and we're
Yes.
or working our minds because we're thinking and toiling and trying
Yeah.
to predict, are we going to make the money? Is this going to be worth the investment? Is this person a quack? Is this the whatever? Is this going to work for me? Is this going to work for me? Is this going everything can work for you? Everything that's out there has worked for someone. That's why it's out there. Is it going to work for you? Is a question that has a lot of the things to it. The best place to ask that is your higher self. Is this something I'm being led to? So a tip I would give is if you see it 3 times, then it's a sign.
Mm. Mm.
So if it comes to you, like, you say, okay, that felt elevated. Like I got that idea and it felt elevated. Why? Because I got goosebumps, or I felt a little
Right.
lighter, or I felt like, it made me stop. It made me
Mm.
pause. All right, spirit, show me 2 more times.
Mm.
And that's how you're starting to invite that conversation, right? And
Right.
and that's what you want. You want that Batman and Robin two-way conversation. Like right now in my phone, I record my messages every day.
Mhm.
So I have over 2,000 messages in my voice
Oh,
memo
wow.
that I get in my car and my higher self kind of knows I'm going to be in the car, and I turn on the voice memo and I will just start talking. And sometimes I just bitch and moan. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Are you serious? Like, this is like the prayer thing has gone out the window. It's like, so no, I'm not doing that. Like, are you done? Okay, you done? Okay, here's why. And then I can feel the difference
Yes.
in between. Now, remember, I'm a psych major. I grew up with a psychotherapist who was also, she was psychic and everything. So I get the whole mental health. This is not a mental health crisis. This is
Right.
your own energetic physiology stepping in. This is the navigation system. This is the narrator of your life that was meant to be on.
Yes, yes. I hear that a lot from people when I talk to entrepreneurs. I hear them saying they received a message to do something, and they was like, "No, but I don't want to do that," right? And then it comes again, and they're like, "Okay," because they understand that I'm not sure they understand where it comes from. They just know that it's a real message for them, that they
That's
should follow through. It feels right, even though they're reluctant.
that's right.
Their first response is, "Yeah, I know you're telling me to do that, but I'm not sure if I want to do all that," right?
Yeah,
But then eventually they listen to it and everything, falls in order. So yeah,
that's right.
I hear
A
that a
way will
lot.
be made. A way
Yeah.
will be made.
Yeah.
Yep. Very powerful stuff. It's very exciting to me to be able to share it now. You know,
Yeah, it sounds like it. So, I mean, just thinking of the concept of a couple of things you said, like as entrepreneurs, we're constantly in our head working on something, right? We're
that's right.
constantly working on something. The second part is if we're trying to do everything in the 3D physically, when that's only meant to be 20%, and we're doing it 110%, right? We're breaking down our bodies, our
Right.
quality of life is just out the
Right.
window, and all we're doing is go, 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 and wondering why it's so hard, why we're not seeing the results. So to be able to realize and to learn that there's a part of us that can handle 80% of this, and we can just deal with the 20%. I mean, that leaves room to breathe. That leaves space to, like you said, enjoy life. Like it's not all about go, go, go. One of the things that I'm really big on with my entrepreneur community is that we are not meant to work 24/7. We're not meant to be going, going, going all the time. We're not meant
Especially
to
as
be
women.
giving to everyone and not take time for ourselves, to your point, to sit in that silence. We're not meant to not enjoy life. I say we deserve to have our joy, our health, and our wealth, right? But a lot of us are in this labor mentality that we have grown up believing that unless we're doing it with our hands and unless it's hard, unless it's really difficult,
Valid. Yep.
then it's not valuable. It's not going to turn, I can't just do 20% and then relax and watch my business grow, because I'm getting the downloads guiding me into what I need to do. That's a lot simpler than doing 10 hours of research, right? Like asking, should I do this event? and getting the answer, let me help you with that, is a lot easier than spending hours going through different options.
Right.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. So
makes it.
there's a ratio, 17 seconds of energetic focus is equivalent to 3 hours of physical work.
Ooh,
17 seconds of energetic focus is
I
equivalent
love
to
that.
3 hours of physical work. So you
So
can put
energetic
on.
focus, what does that look like?
So energetic focus is where you're asking that open-ended question. Okay, spirit, what do I need to know most right now? How do I, what's my next step? And getting still, even counting backwards from 10 to 1, which will put you into the alpha state, just 10, 10, 10, 9, 9, 9, and going down to 1. Or just going into the bathroom if you're in a meeting or something and just going, take a breath and just take a beat for 17 seconds.
Hmm.
It's equivalent to 3 hours of toiling.
I love that. I love
And
that.
so it goes the opposite way too, though. If
Uh-huh.
you're fretting for 17 seconds, you're setting yourself back 3 hours of physical work.
Ooh,
So
okay.
and worry is negative prayer.
Both, yes.
So and gripping, like gripping and trying to control, a lot of times that grip is just too much work,
Mm,
you know. And to your point about joy, the most important thing as an entrepreneur that you can offer is the example of joy in what you're doing. Because
yes.
even if people are putting you down, your worst critics are actually hoping that you'll show them the success. They
Hmm.
need you more than the ones who are like, oh, you're doing so great. Worst ones really need, no one can argue with success. So just forget them and
Right.
keep going. But
Right.
your joy is the greatest gift you can give. That's the greatest example. Could you imagine if everybody was like working in their passion? And that's
Yeah.
what Wicked, that's my last Wicked point, but that's what Wicked was. His set designers were in the highest expression. His cast was in its highest expression. His director,
Yeah.
his cinematographer, his
Yeah.
costume designer, his lighting people, I'm sure his craft services feeding everybody was in the highest
Right.
expression. Everything, the dancers, oh, don't get me started on the dancers. Everyone was in their highest expression. The multicultural cast,
Yes.
multi-generational cast,
Yes.
the multi-gendered cast. When Fierro was doing that dancing through life, and he's got the guys as hysterical as the girls, as the blacks,
Uh-huh.
the whites, as
Right.
the old lady, he's kissing on the cheek, and everyone's like, oh my God, because he was this multi-dimensional energy,
Creation. Yes. Yes.
and that was of the highest expression. And so that's why that film is so elevated, and that's why the film is so iconic. It was a permission slip to joy. It was a
Mm,
permission slip to stepping into the ugliest parts of yourself, but defying that, of
mm,
stepping into the ugliest parts of society, but saying, no,
mhm.
that's not
Right.
okay.
Right.
And true love finds a way. There's so many themes, but I think
Hmm.
it's just really, really important to recognize that joy is not a sin. And that's one of the highest vibrational frequencies we can have, but one
Mm,
that we're most afraid of. Because most people
mm,
are very afraid of joy.
Why do you think that is?
Because they're afraid the other shoe is going to drop, and if they're too
Uh,
joyful, they're going to be condemned. Look at the media. You have somebody, they build up this whole marriage. Oh, Meghan and Harry, oh, the relationship, and then they crest the wave, and I was like, oh, she's a witch,
right.
and they just do anything they can to tear it down, because it's a media cycle. It's like, how do you keep the
Mm,
ratings going? You see the same
yes.
thing with The
So
Bachelor.
it's
They
what we're fed. It's what we're taking in that's
exactly,
shaping the way we think and relate to
that's
things.
right. So then we get
So
afraid of joy.
yeah,
We
so
always
yeah,
want to
it's like
prepare for the
I
worst.
yeah. So it's the act of your self-preservation and your health to
That's
stay
right.
away from that news cycle,
That's
because
right.
it is really detrimental to our mentality and to our energy, right? Because
Yes.
it's nothing positive, like it doesn't reinforce the positive that's happening in the world. It feeds us the worst of the world and makes us think that's the 100% of what it's going on when it's not.
I think what we're going through now, you should keep on the pulse, because to keep yourself safe. right? Because it's
Mhm.
legitimately like out of control right now.
Mhm.
Um, but I also think that when, and I tell my clients this, don't be afraid to send good energy to bad things, like saying,
Mhm.
you know what, I'm sending love and light to that person right now.
Definitely. Yes.
There was some article I saw today, and I got it really, it got through my defenses, and it just, it gripped.
Mhm.
It's probably one of these deportation things. And
Mm.
I just said, angels, please come and help so and so. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Just like, instead of saying, I can't look at it, oh, I can't look at it, I just say,
Mhm.
before I go, I can't look at any more of it.
Right.
Send angels to it. I send white light to it. I say, because all these people are acting as a soul group to go through these things for the greater good of us, our compassion going up so that we stop this thing, and it will stop. I don't see him in office past the summer. I think
Mhm.
this whole thing is breaking. That's another day's another show. But yeah, I don't see this going past that. I think he'll be taken out and taken down. And the more intense it gets, and this is the counterintuitiveness of frequency, the more intense it gets, the more of an indicator that it's about to be done.
Right. Right.
Because
Yep.
if it was easy or, kind of status quo, it would just
Yes.
drag on.
Yeah, it would just like, you're right. Yeah,
But
you're
the
right.
whole point is for the people to find their power.
There you go. Exactly. For them to
Everything.
see what they wouldn't believe unless they saw it.
That's right.
Like they wouldn't believe it through conversation and tell, no, don't do this because this is going to happen. They didn't believe that. So now they had to live through it. We had to live through it. And like you say, like you said, respond with compassion to these things and understand that this is just something that we're all going through to end up elevated in a better
Exactly.
place. So it's all
Exactly.
for a higher good. So when we talk about the things people typically do to manifest things, like, we talk about talking to that energetic part of ourselves and downloading, um, when what's usually at our fingertips, or what we're usually learning about is affirmations, visualizations, doing those different techniques to manifest things. How does this relate to that? I mean, is it this instead of that, or this in conjunction with that?
What's the first this that you're saying? The energetic communication,
Visualization.
visualization.
Visualizing, because I want to manifest something. So I spend time meditating and visualizing what I want to occur. So I'm visualizing
So,
every day.
okay. So when it comes to alchemy, so bringing something from energetic form into physical form, which is essentially what we're doing. Yes, shopping in that space of what you desire through visualizing is fine. But what you really want to do is more assumptive, is to assume the version of you that already has it as so.
Mm.
So visualizing also can hold up your manifest. It can actually stop your manifesting without you knowing. If you're looking at yourself like as if you're in a movie, so you're over there and
Right.
you're walking the beach with your hubby or whatever, and you're on the cruise or whatever. When you look at yourself over there, then it's putting it off in the distance, is adding time, space, and linearity to it, which slows
Mm.
down the manifesting. It just keeps it kind of in this, what I call a purgatory parallel, kind of keeps you
Mm.
away from you. So you're churning. So now
Mhm.
let me go back and visualize it again because it didn't
Right.
hey, like, here we go. Where's the vision board? I gotta talk to Oprah because this is not working, like that's not that's not
Exactly.
so there's three key things I would suggest with that when it comes to manifesting. One is you want to be in the scene. So instead of looking at it as you on a movie screen, you want to be looking at it through your eyes. So you're seeing your hands, you're seeing your peripheral vision, you're seeing your feet, you're seeing what's out in front of you, and you're seeing people responding to you as positive.
Mm.
So like they're congratulating you on, you won that Oscar. Oh my God.
Right.
And you're feeling. So that's the first thing, is that you want to be in the scene so that you're assuming it, you're coming into the version of you that already has this. Remember, everything you want already exists, and every version of you that has it or doesn't have it already exists too.
Right.
So you're
Right.
picking the version of you that already
Mm.
has this thing and then being her. And what
Got it.
you do is as you're being her and you're kind of looking at things from your eyes out,
Right.
is to ask her to say, Rolls Royce, Lynette, the one version of me who wants the rolls, right? So Rolls Royce, you should say, okay, so you're the one who already has the rolls. What did you do today? How did you run your day today? How is the finished version of what I desire? How does she run her day today? What decisions did she make today that were on the path to that? So that's one technique. But the other, from a energetic technique standpoint, from a technical standpoint, we have an electrical and a magnetic field. The electrical is your intention and your thought. So whatever you're thinking most, you start to move quantum particles, blah, 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 and you start to bring it towards yourself. You start to arouse it. So it starts to move around and configure like, oh, okay, she would like a cruise, right? But if you're thinking about, I now have a cruise, I now have a cruise, I'm now on a cruise, I'm on the Kiwi too, da, 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 and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I feel the sheets, I feel the thing, I feel the thing. I have plenty of money. I even got the money, and this is how I got the money, and the money came to me. No.
Okay.
Forget about the money piece. Like, don't start with the money piece, because a lot of people are like, should I manifest the money or should I manifest the cruise? That's linear thinking. Spirit doesn't work in linear. Just get the cruise, be on the cruise. But here's the thing. Your intention is just part one. Part two, the magnetism, the magnet is your emotion. So if you're thinking about it and you're fretting, or you said, okay, I set the timer for 20 minutes because the guy on the show said, if I do this for 20 minutes, or the guy on the Instagram reel said, 20 minutes is it, so I'm going to do it for 20 minutes. That's not the emotion. That's the doing.
Right.
The emotion is, I feel a sense of wonder. I feel a sense of joy. And you pick your emotion that you have easiest access to. For you, it's probably love. I'm seeing the pillows behind you. Right? So you might feel love, you might feel relief. Right? You're trying to visualize, if you're worried about money for your business, and it's like, I visualize, I have 10 grand, I have 10 grand in my bank account, my bank account. I got it, but I really need 250 grand, but I'm gonna stop.
You've been eavesdropping.
Spirit is not the parent of a teenager, okay? You're not, okay, let me just ask for a little bit and hopefully I get a little more. This is right. Your parent. You're talking to universal energy. Right? So instead of saying I need this, you can say I always say satisfy the pains of your mental mind before you try to go into the frequency, because otherwise you're just going to be fighting yourself. So what I would say is write a brain dump of all the reasons why you're worried about not having enough money, what could happen, da, da, da. Don't be worried about your manifesting. Just write it all out so that you do the clearing, like clean it out first.
Got it. Then
you want to go into the emotion of how are you going to feel when you have this? And it's not always like, oh, wow, I have $10,000. It could be, oh, thank God.
Right.
Jesus.
I love that. Yes.
10 grand. Like,
relief. Right.
Relief is more accessible than
the
joy that you're afraid of.
Right.
Yeah. Like relief. I've worked with so many clients in manifesting, and there's all kinds of levels of this stuff. I mean, I can go into some really like big alchemy conversations and all that. But when we're talking about like just basic access to a decent amount of manifest, you really, if you can get to the most believable emotion, that's your engine. So if your your magnetism engine, you can put out there vision boards and all that. Then now you've got the electrical part all handled. You've got you've got the burl wood on the rolls. You've got the double stitched diamond seats. You got the stars in the ceiling. You got all the things.
Right.
You can have all of that. That's your intention, but that's just the electrical part of the electromagnetic field. The magnetic part is the feeling. So what you want is even for Rolls Royce, you might say, oh, I'd be elated, but you might just be relieved because you need a new car. And this is like, you figured out how to do it through your business or whatever. So you just say, oh, relief. Oh, thank you. Relief. And you always put your hand on your heart. Your heart actually has more power than your brain. So you put, especially when it comes to magnetism, you put your hand on your heart and you're going to say relief. Because those are two things. You're going to be feeling relief and gratitude. Don't just jump to gratitude. That's just, oh, thank you, Jesus. I'm so thank you. It means nothing, especially if you don't have the thing and you're freaked out. right? Like why bother? Like don't stress yourself out. Go to relief. And when you do, the way you do when you're closing your eyes and you're doing your visualizing, you can just say, oh, relief. Or you can say, oh, thank God. Or what would you naturally
Right.
say when you feel relieved?
Just what you said. Oh,
And
thank you.
and get your body involved, like, oh,
Yes.
and that if you sit down in
Oh,
your chair for, put your timer on for say 3 minutes and you just go, oh, I feel so relieved, and just sigh through relief. That's
right.
gonna be
Breathe through.
rocket fuel to your vision board. Way
Yes.
more than I now have,
Right.
$10,000 and that got me to at least get the website. And then once I have the website, I'll manifest $50,000 to get the publishing, the publicist. And
Right.
then I'll manifest, maybe the Oprah will show up, maybe where in this will Oprah show up to help me the rest of the way? Like that's just orchestration.
Right.
That's not how the non-physical infrastructure works. It works on
Mm.
electrical and
And
magnetic.
magnetic.
And the magnetism of that you draw in. Now you could do grace. You could say like one of my best ones is if especially if it's a very 3D-ish problem, like it's like a
Mhm.
problem solving thing. It's not like I'd love to have, a ranch in Idaho. It's a
Right.
real like I've got to get this thing today. I need this money
Uh-huh.
now or whatever. Go straight to relief.
Hmm.
See yourself putting that mortgage check in the bank, see yourself putting
Hmm.
that, just see the bills, just feeling the relief that you feel. Everybody knows how it feels to finally get the light bill paid
Right.
when
Yes.
you've got the internet thing for the other thing and the other thing and all these other things.
Exactly. And
And
it
you're like,
all
oh,
works out.
thank God.
Yes. It's
And you
like,
don't
woo.
want to say it to anybody because you're supposed to be the successful entrepreneur, but you're like, yes, and and so if you're in that stage, like if you're kind of in a duress stage, then you definitely want to go to relief. But if you're kind of in that mid range where you're not in, destitution or anything, but you're also not where you want to be and you're tired.
Uh,
And you're tired of that churn of I'm bit,
yes.
I'm affirming, and especially if you're doing it by rote. Okay, I'm supposed to say I'm reading this. It's in my phone. Okay, let me see what it was as affirm. Oh, I saw that on the reel. Let me read this thing.
Right.
You're better off putting your hand on your heart and just being honest and just saying, you know what? Thank you. Oh gosh,
Mm.
wow, relief. The other key word that I say often that I found was a real powerhouse is grace.
Mm.
Because part of the reason why we don't have all these things is worthiness issues, forgiveness issues,
Yes.
shame, feeling shame that we should even be needing to ask for this right now,
Right.
especially
Right.
as entrepreneurs, especially with all the
Yes.
get a job. What are you nuts? Like, oh, now I think maybe I am failing. Maybe I'm supposed to get a job. No, you're supposed
Right.
to tune in. You're supposed to drop down and tune in. And that's in the heart center. Hand on your heart, just say grace and relief. Like, oh, grace,
Mm.
relief. You can also say at last. Like when you say the
Mm.
word
I
at
like
last,
that one. Yes.
it
I really
just,
feel that one
it,
at
yeah.
last.
So you say, oh,
Because you feel like it finally happened. It has happened. So you're
yeah,
feeling it has happened.
that's rocket fuel for your
Oh, I love
magnetism.
that.
And you don't have
Yeah.
to do this for hours. You could do this for
Hmm.
10 minutes. You could do it for 5 minutes,
Mm.
you could do it for an
At
hour
last. I love
at
that
last.
one.
And you know what? Do it with your eyes open. Do it when you're walking through Trader Joe's, hey, at last.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing. We know what compounded interest is. We know what putting a
Yes.
little bit incrementally is.
Uh-huh.
Don't wait for the manifesting well, you need a big giant miracle.
Mm.
Let it be part of your day. Your higher self isn't just waiting for you to show up in a church or in a meditation chair. It is operating just like your breathing, your lungs are going, your higher self is on 24/7. It's like the
Ah,
sticker tape that runs along the bottom third of the
yes.
CNN, right? Where you see all the stuff.
Right.
It's just a matter of are you going to dip in or not? It's always running. You just have to
Always
turn
there.
that vantage point, turn that switch to listening to that versus listening to your intellect. Then you can turn back to listening to your intellect. That your
Mm.
intellect matters. Your analysis matters,
Right.
discernment matters, but it's when it's only there, it
Yes.
overworks.
Yes.
When you're doing this
Because
other,
that's supposed to be the 20%
that's
that
right.
you're using for the 100%.
That's right. That's right. So when you tune in.
Mm.
So I have a framework and I talk about this in my book, clear, connect, communicate, create.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing you always want to do is clear, energetic hygiene. Clearing your energy is as important and as should be as frequent as you clean your body. Like your
Mm.
frequency needs clearing just like your body does.
Mm.
They go hand in hand. So people say, oh, I took a clearing class back in 1985. Okay, no, that's like you took a shower in 1985 too. That was a long time. No.
So
So
what does clearing looks like?
clearing can be anything from washing your hands with sea salt and then
Okay.
taking, just washing your face real quick and letting that go down the drain. Or taking a hot salt bath or a hot salt is very clearing. It could be
Okay.
burning smudge, like a smudge stick and sort of smudging yourself. I always like to do first sea salt in a spray bottle and just spritz your home, especially if you
Okay.
don't want the smoke effect,
Mm.
And there's all different, types of, sages and things like that.
Right.
That would be like an example of some clearing. The
But
second,
that should be done daily.
daily,
Okay. There you
daily.
go. Okay.
And as people say, well, doesn't my Pilates count as clearing? No, that's centering. No, no,
Yeah.
no. Clearing. So there's cleansing and there's clearing and there's centering, and there's shielding and protecting. So those are all different things, but it's all under the umbrella of energetic hygiene. I mean, too big of a conversation for now, but that's
Right. Right.
energetic hygiene. So that's under the clear part of the framework.
Got it.
So clear connect is when you go into what we call the alpha state, is when you stop the intellect and you consciously connect to your 5D frequency. So when I was saying count backwards from 10 to 1, that's a simple way. I mean, there's plenty of ways, but that's a simple way to do it. Just take a beat. Because if you don't, you just try to jump straight to communicate, I need a message, or even worse, create, then you're just jumping to action
Mm.
without the clear, without the connection,
Mm-hmm.
without getting the messaging from your higher self, the communications, then you just try to go to create. You just try to do. That's just, you might as well just, go
Right.
work.
You skipped everything with your
It's
energy, went
everything.
straight to the mind.
And that's why manifesting doesn't work for people, because they don't do those first 3 parts of the framework. So it's
Mm.
clear, connect, communicate.
Clear, connect, communicate. So clear,
Clear,
you
connect.
should do that every day. Connect is
You
taking
want
a
to do that
beat.
every day too, taking those deep breaths and just consciously saying, I'm stopping, I'm taking a beat.
Communicate is that listening.
Yeah, listening and getting those downloads and writing them down. So like if you get an insight, keep a
Got
notebook
it.
and just write those insights down, because they'll get longer and longer and longer as you go.
Okay.
And then create is when you get an inspired action step, like your higher self says, hey, give Jen a call and talk to her about Wicked. And I do. And then all of a sudden she comes up after we talk about Fiero for a half hour. She says, oh, by the way,
Right, right.
salesperson. Oh, wait, what? I was just thinking, that was an inspired action step. It may be counterintuitive,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not
Right,
just always going to the car dealership and test driving the new car that you hope you're going to get.
right.
That's great, because it gives you some kinesthetic, it helps you to connect in a little bit, but it's not the only thing, right?
Mm.
So, but taking those inspired action steps is very important. That and your higher self will give you that next step.
Right.
You might hear write the book, finish the book, finish the
Mm.
book. And if you ignore
Okay.
that step, you will not get any more steps.
Mm.
People say, I'm so stuck.
That's
I'm like,
key. That is
yeah,
really key. I'm so glad you shared that. Yeah. Because
yeah.
we want to, we have the tendency to want to do the part that's fun to us, right? But
That's not
there's a
scary.
commitment step that you've been told to take, and you want to
Comfort.
skip that. Let me go over here to this one. But until you listen to that first step,
They won't
you're
give
not
you
going to get the next
right. And
communication.
that's why people don't get money for their ideas. Because a lot of times there's some preamble that needs to happen. So if you
Mm.
get, a conversation, if something is sort of not happening instantaneously, it's either you're not taking the step that's being sent, or you're not picking up on it because you're too busy and you're not listening in.
Right, right.
It's
You didn't do the four C's,
right.
right?
Yeah. So there's that, but also you're not taking that one step that will
That
get you.
you've heard that you need to take.
That's right. That's right.
Mm. Mm, I
Once you
love that.
do, then you start seeing things line up and you're like, wow,
Mm,
wow.
right. Should have
And
did this a long time ago.
well, and you can't beat yourself up because sometimes, you have your divine delays and things like that. But things like writing a book, like I have a whole new mastermind just for people who are trying to publish a book. That there's so much energy around writing and publishing your own book. There's so much judgment, there's so much second guessing, there's so much, you know, author's imposter syndrome where you like
Yes.
or to finishing, you're like, I don't think anybody's going to care about this. You're like, you wrote 50,000 words and you don't think anybody's going to care.
Right,
And,
right,
so there's a lot of practical things, but yeah, I think it's just really important to be able to, if you can find your way as to get as fluent as possible in this energetic world. And it's an ongoing process, just like life is ongoing,
right, right. It's a
but
journey. It's a journey.
recognizing it exists is the first step,
Yes.
you
So
know.
you have courses to guide. I know you have a book coming out about
Yes.
the 5D frequency, and you also have courses that can help someone who's interested. They're hearing our conversation, they say, I want to know a little bit more about that. So how do we get in contact with you?
I would say go to it's beyondintuitionbook.com. So this is the book and but the website for is beyondintuitionbook.com.
Okay.
That I'm only selling this off of my own site. And I'll tell you why, because we have all
Uh-huh.
this stuff going on with Amazon and they're banning a lot of books.
Mm,
There's a lot of boycotting and everything. My first book, which was traditionally published several years ago, is on Amazon. This second
okay.
book is not on purpose. I,
Okay.
I've hosted it on a site, and if any of your listeners or yourself want to write a book, I
Hmm.
highly recommend this self-publishing arm. They're
Okay.
called Books by, I think it's books.by, but Books by, it's based in Australia.
Hmm.
And one of the things is Amazon will not, first of all, they take 55% of the money. Second
Hmm.
of all, they will not give you your customer's name or email. And third of all, they take 120 days to pay any royalties. And a lot of people get shut down through KDP without knowing.
Oh,
And Amazon takes over if you're self-published, Amazon, if they give you the free ISBN number, they
right.
call themselves your publisher. So they kind of take over. There's a lot of things that are going on.
Ah, that's
When you
good to
go,
know because yeah, I am working on a book. So that's good
yeah.
information.
So Books by
Books
is
by.
they give you your own platform where you can put all of your books up there, and they do
Okay.
print on demand. They don't take any money out of your profits other than to print the book. So you have and like $1.99 for a fulfillment cost,
Oh, wow.
and they give you your customer's name and your customer's email so you can keep in touch. You can connect with your customer.
Right.
They're also now giving free ISBNs where you are the publisher, where it's your information.
Oh,
So
wow.
they do print on demand, and they print the book and they send the book, and they're even though they're based in Australia, so that's safer than being based in the US right now so they're
Uh-huh.
not going to get banned and all that stuff.
Right.
They have hubs all over the world. So if you're in Europe or you're in South America or you're in the US or in in Canada, they have presses there. So it's going to take about 3 to 5 days for your client to get the book. So
Got
that's
it.
that's one thing. Now, a lot of people want to do Kindle, right? They want to do the electronic book. So my other suggestion for that, and I'm just letting everybody know because I just want people to get their stuff out without all the
Yes.
is a site called bookfunnels.com.
Mm.
Might be book funnel without the S or might be the S. So try it both ways.
Okay.
But what they do is they take the EPUB file. So when you self-publish your book, you're going to do two files. You're going to do a PDF file. Well, it's three files, a PDF file, a print file for a hard and soft cover, a PDF file, which will be on your computer, and then you're going to do an EPUB file. So EPUB is for all of the different, Nook and Kindles, all your e-readers.
Okay.
That EPUB file, when you bring that to bookfunnels.com, what they do is you publish it through them and they give you a landing page and your client can say, download my book here. They buy the book, you click And then they get full instructions on how to download it to any device. And
Ah,
it just goes right onto your Kindle, just like if you were buying it on Amazon, it goes
right.
right onto your Kindle. It's really simple, and they provide all the tech support. So you
Okay.
start to get into any kind of issue, and they give you a nice, your royalties are similar to the other one. You get the customer's name, so you can build your database, you can build your list right now.
Yes.
More so than anything, if you're really social media dependent, you need to have three things. You need to be on YouTube, you need to be on Blue Sky, you need to be on Substack. If you're writing, you need to be building your own email list and have your own private website. That's the way to go right now. Once this
Mm,
regime is out of office, end of this year, later on in the year, then we can start to, and the algorithm
right.
type of things start to calm down and everybody's like starting to normalize.
Right.
And you can
So I
consider
got YouTube and Substack. What was the other one? Blue
YouTube, a Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Blue
Okay.
Sky. Yeah, those are the ones that Blue Sky is kind of replacing Twitter. It's more of a
Okay.
short form, but they did just add video, so it's gonna kind of go towards the Instagram. They're giving you like a 90-second reel, so like a TikTok. Um,
Okay. Okay.
so those I would say, even if you have TikTok and Facebook and you're doing all that stuff already, continue to do it. Just be mindful. But if you're writing and you're a writer of color and
Uh-huh.
we're going through a lot of changes right now,
Mm-hmm.
build out your underground railroad of your
Mm-hmm.
content and take care of
Right.
yourself.
Right.
Take care of yourself, take care of your
Yes.
content, and nurture your people, building community. I
Mm-hmm.
have a new community called High Frequency Living with Mari. It's going to be on the Circle group. That's a whole an area that has all different, memberships.
Okay.
I also have, mastermind classes, which are a 6-month masterminds. I go by semester. So I have the fall semester and I have the winter, spring semester. I'm starting in the fall for the bigger alchemy masterminds. And I also have an 8-week get the messages fluency course. So if you just want to focus on that higher
Mm,
self connection,
right.
I have a 8-week course for that too. So
Okay.
they go to the beyondintuitionbook.com, or if you want to send me an email direct, beyond that, you can go to support. I'll give you the easiest one, support at ahamomentsinc.com. That's my old company, but I still use that email because it just
Okay.
so
Support at
support
Aha
at
Moment.
aha moments with an S inc.com.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Great.
the
Great
book thing
stuff.
though, take care of yourselves,
Definitely.
take care of your
That's
social media, build your platform. Even
right.
if it's brick and mortar, build out that platform for yourself.
Great information and great tips. Well, we appreciate you so much being here with us
Oh,
today.
yeah.
And when we close out, we always ask our guests 4 fun questions.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with you. The first one is going to be, if you could have a conversation with anyone from any time in history, who would you choose to have that conversation with and why?
Kamala Harris,
Mm,
to say thank you,
mm,
giving the vision of what we could be.
beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful. I
what we
love
could
that.
be. I think she gave us a blueprint.
Yes.
If all this wasn't happening, if she had won, it wouldn't have we wouldn't have been governable. It would have just been a
Mhm,
disaster. I think she will
mhm,
come in. I think she'll come in towards the end of the year.
mhm.
That's again, but I just would like to say thank you to her.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Yes.
lots of other people, but yeah, she was the first.
Yes. Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Definitely. Okay, when it comes to travel, what is your favorite place that you've been or that you want to go?
I think my favorite place that I've been was Florence, Italy. I
Ah,
did competitive ballroom dancing for quite some time, and I actually
oh,
danced in a dance competition in Venice. And then we took the
oh,
train to Florence and we stayed in Florence. And it felt past life. Like I knew where everything was. It
wow.
was a very magical, I
Ah,
think it's some sort of energetic vortex. So I would highly
yeah.
recommend it. It's beautiful, beautiful.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. What was your favorite childhood game?
Oh, The first thing that comes to mind was kickball because we could hit all the
Ah.
boys. In the elementary school parking lot. Catholic school, we didn't have the lawns like the public schools did, so we were in the parking lots.
Yes.
Kickball was fun. I think that's the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to be remembered for, Amari?
I think the most important thing for me is that people feel that they have a permission slip to joy, that their dreams matter, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
and they count for you in your heart, for your own joy, and they count for others because your joy is a permission slip for others to be joyful too. Because that's what our mental mind does. It looks over to everybody else. What did they do? What did they? Oh, they were joyful. Oh, I'm allowed to be joyful. Okay.
Right,
They were different.
right,
Oh, I'm allowed to be different. Okay.
right.
And I hope that I can. No, I always say you matter and your dreams count, and I think that's
Mm,
what I'd like to leave with people.
I love that. Thank you. Again, thank you for spending time with us today. I love all the wonderful gems you dropped, and I really enjoyed discussing Wicked with you.
Oh, I could go about that for days. Thank you. I've had so much fun.
Yes, and I really appreciate the work you do to help us realize that we deserve joy and that
Yeah.
there's a way to get it differently from just using the physical part of ourselves to create. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Life is much easier. Always give yourself something to look forward to. Life is much easier than you think. It
Yes,
really is.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynette. It's been great.
Today's podcast is being sponsored by Your 90-Day Success Journal for Black Women Entrepreneurs by Lynette Cottrell. The journal is available on Amazon. It's inclusive of monthly goals, weekly and daily goals, affirmations, self-care practices, and inspiring quotes from other Black women. Be sure to get your copy today. Your 90-Day Success Journal. Hey sis, so thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you got some great gems today from our beautiful Black woman entrepreneur. You got inspired to go do more. You got re-energized and refreshed. We want you to take the best care of yourself. It is our deep belief that we as Black women entrepreneurs deserve to build our wealth without sacrificing our joy or our health. So we deserve to have the joy, the health, and the wealth. And we love helping you to get there. Again, be sure to leave a comment, rate our podcast, and share it with another beautiful Black woman that you know of. Visit our website at www.wocib.org and check out the great merch we have there for you and the workshops. We're working on some wonderful things for you. All right. We look forward to staying in touch, and until next time, be well.